And now I'm going to prepare a wonderful dish, and one that has been introduced to me by my son-in-law, Bernard. Of course, you know, Cajuns never stuff tomatoes, usually anyway. They may now since we introduced this to them, but they always stuff their bell peppers. Mom always had stuffed bell pepper. But I have learned how to do this, and Bernard he's a great cook, so I'm going to show you how we do it now. Of course, you want to melt your butter in your pot. You're going to saute onions and bell pepper in this. Yes, very good. Okay. Bernard has taught me a lot of things. Of course, some I'm not going to share with you because his recipes, he sort of experiments with them, but this was one that was wonderful. It really was great. So then you add your onions. Of course, Cajuns, you know how they cook. They cook according to touch and feel, rather, and smell and the eye. So I just throw everything together, just like us Cajuns do. Yes, my mama taught me how to cook, and she never measured anything, so, you know, it's just, but usually when you start off cooking, you may want to measure a few of the ingredients. All right, look at that, how that's sauteing, just real pretty. You don't want to overcook this because you will be baking this in your tomato shell. Of course, you have to chop this up pretty fine. So, all righty, that's doing very, very well. Seems like we saute a lot of stuff as much as we use a lot of roux in our meals, our dishes. Okay, now this is just right. So now I'm going to cut my fire off. I'm going to add my tomatoes. Okay. My gorgeous Louisiana tomatoes. Yes. I picked, really. And then, of course, some wonderful Louisiana crab meat. Nothing like Louisiana seafood. That's what I was raised on. Salt and pepper this very well. Okay. Usually when I add seafood to my food, I usually add a little bit more seasoning to bring out the flavor of it. Okay. Mix this up real well. Look at this, how pretty. It makes a beautiful dish. Okay. To this, now I'm going to add some just Italian breadcrumbs. Of course, you can add the plain ones. Now, Bernard told me, mother-in-law, and that's what he calls me, mother-in-law. Of course, I call him son-in-law, and he, you know, he's my favorite son-in-law. Of course, he's the only one I got, and I'm his favorite mother-in-law. Oh, we just really get along well. But he told me, he said, mother-in-law, you need to add the Italian breadcrumbs to this because it enhances the flavor of the dish. So, and I believe him because this really adds to it. Okay, this will help hold the stuffing together also. Need to add a little bit more in here. Yeah. See about Cajuns cooking by the eye? See, I never taste my food. I always just, well, of course I have the General and Missy. General, you know who he is, and Missy, my daughter, who helps me with the taste of it. They're my tasters, I call them. And they're my best critiques too. But they enjoy my food. Oh, this is just gorgeous and very, okay. Now, let me get this out. Very good. What I'm going to do next is that I'm going to take my stuffing over to my wonderful Louisiana tomatoes. Okay, which I always enjoy cooking. Now, this is one that has been shelled. Of course, I'm going to show you how I did it. Okay, this is a beautiful tomato here from Anthony's. Okay. Put it here. Now, you want to core this, okay? So you take your pineapple spoon, Well, I use pineapple. Well, this is not a spoon, it's a knife. But anyway, I'm going to show you how I use the spoon in a minute. Because actually, I use these little different utensils for different reasons. I don't like pineapples, but I use the pineapple spoon and the knife often. You core it out. Okay. Very good. Take all this real. You can leave it even some of the pulp inside. It just really doesn't matter that much. And I'm going to chop this up into my dish because you know we don't waste anything. Yeah, Cajuns don't waste anything that they use. So we're going to add this. You don't want to waste that wonderful Louisiana tomato here. Okay, very good. Now, okay. Yeah, mix it all together. Good. I can just smell that really wonderful flavor here that's going to come out of these tomatoes. I'm going to stuff this. Now, if you, you know, want to use the cold stuffing, it's okay, but you can stuff it right away. And of course, you can refrigerate these. And you can make them the day before you have your company. And you can refrigerate them. Just wrap them in saran wrap, which keeps them moist in the. Now, okay. I'm going to lay down and take a nap today. Huh? Okay. Add my stuffing to this one. I can smell that wonderful crab meat and the tomato just blending in. Just great. Okay. Put them both together here. All righty. Then, of course, you want to top these off with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. You've got it already in the stuffing, so you go ahead and you top it off with, and it's just wonderful. Okay. Now, next I'm going to take this to the oven. Okay. They're so pretty. Very good. I'll bake this in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes or until the cheese melts and it just becomes a golden brown color. And it really helps with the flavor of that tomato. So now I've got this baking, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to fix my next wonderful Louisiana tomato typical Cajun dish.